I have never bought this much manga in a single month. Hello and welcome to another monthly manga haul, this one being August. My name is Atrocious, or Jake, or AtrociousJake. You can call me whatever, just be nice. And please be nice when I say that I went overboard this month. I'm gonna be honest, like I actually went overboard. This month for me was really good in terms of pickups for manga and light novels. It has a variety of everything. It's got stuff in formats that I've never bought before, so new kind of format of manga appearing on my bookshelf, which I'll show you soon. I had a couple things on back orders that finally went through this past month, so that also charged to my bank account. I also got this insane Chainsaw Man tattoo, and this was all at like the beginning of the month. The second half of the month, I like did not get anything. I think for the last 2 weeks, I haven't really gotten anything except something a friend had sent in the mail. Oh, and I bought this hat too. So we gotta get going on this. Let's get started. So as usual, we're gonna start this video off talking about new series hitting my bookshelf for the first time. The first one I got is like 8 volumes of this series. This was actually sent to me by a friend who was selling off some of their manga, so they asked me if I wanted it. It is the first 8 volumes of Blue Exorcist. Now, I've heard good things about this series, although I will say I don't know much about this series, except it's a Shonen Jump series with a ton of guns, action, like fantasy type stuff as well. So it's something that I feel like is right above my alley, but I've got the first 8 volumes of this. I'm excited to give it a try as well, because I know some people in like the YouTube comments have recommended it to me. So very excited about this. Very thankful my friend too offered it up to me, see if I wanted it. I mean, I gave them money, of course. I didn't just take it for free. But soon I'm going to be jumping into this series and potentially making a video about it. I haven't had time to read it because I just got it like today. But I honestly think it'll be really cool. Let me know if you've read Blue Exorcist or even watched the anime. I believe there's an anime adaptation as well. Now, a series that I know is getting animated right now that hit my bookshelf this month, Uncle from Another World. Now, if you like comedy, like pure parody comedy, this is the show for you. This is a fantastic reverse isekai parody. I think Konosuba fans would probably really enjoy this. It's a Netflix exclusive, so it might be a little bit difficult for some people to watch, but it's super funny. It is so worth the watch. I highly encourage that you get into it. It's about this son who is taking care of his uncle that just woke up in a coma after 14 years, or I think it was 14. But while he was in that coma, he was isekai'd into another world where he was a gigantic superhero. He's come back to Earth essentially, and he remembers all of his magical powers and things like that and can use them on Earth. And so it's basically their time together. I also want to bring up something on the back. So one of the things that's actually really funny is this guy, the uncle, he is an otaku. Just as it says right here, he is obsessed with the traumatic outcome of the 90s console war, which I think was a super funny and strong opening in this series. I think there's 5 volumes out right now of this series, so again, if you like peak comedy, this is a quick series that you can easily get. I don't see enough people talking about this series, especially because it is so funny. If we want to talk about another funny series that you all have been recommending me, I have the first 2 novel volumes of School DxD. I read the first volume already, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. I didn't go into it thinking that it was like super serious. I mean, it's ecchi, it's fun, it's hard to describe. You have your main character here who's basically going to be the head of a harem, except it's interesting in the aspect of a harem because he's like the lowest of the low. And I'm not talking like he's a total dirtbag. I'm talking about in the group that he becomes a part of, he's like the small fry. He's got to work his way up. And so I thought that was kind of like a cool aspect because a lot of harems that I've watched lately, quintessential quintuplets, couple of cuckoos, in those harems, the main character is like super smart. And he's like the top of his classes, things like that. So it was kind of refreshing to get someone that's down on the bottom. He's literally just a nobody in the beginning. I haven't read volume 2 yet because I've been trying to read a lot of volumes 1. If you didn't see one of my previous videos on the channel of my Smasher Pass reading log, take that for what you will. Title is pending. But I'm excited to get into it. A lot of people recommended in YouTube and TikTok of this series, and I'm glad I picked it up because I enjoyed the first volume so much. I went and got the second, like immediately. One volume that I don't really know how I feel about, but I will be picking up volume 2, Killing Stalking. This is the first volume deluxe edition that recently released, and wow, it's kind of screwed up, not gonna lie. It's actually definitely not for the faint of heart. If you are someone who gets queasy easy, if you are someone that does not enjoy horror, do not pick this up. This is a really weird manhwa. You have this boy right here that has this crush on this guy right here, and well, it gets a little weird very quickly because he like breaks into his house. After he breaks into the house, turns out there's like a naked girl tied up and gagged in his basement. And if you cannot tell from this and understand where the premise is going, he's also kind of crazy. So this BL series is wild. It's completely different than anything I've ever read in BL, especially because there are some spicier scenes, and it is turned into it is literally a nightmare. But it was one of those things that like it was such a nightmare that it was like captivating. I finished it and I was like, so when's volume 2 coming out? If you like screwed up adult content, this is right up your alley. But this is also, I feel like, a very niche demographic. I think it's like the first 2 volumes. Maybe not actually, I take that back. One series that I haven't gotten around to reading yet on my reading list is Chobits. I got the first volume of the 20th anniversary edition of this series. It's a little bit banged up. I was able to get it like discounted, but the spine is in really good condition. So that's the main reason why I was okay with buying this. This was recommended to me by a couple people on TikTok in some videos that I watched. But to my understanding, it's about this boy that moves, and in his new place, he wants to like get a job, get a girlfriend, and get his own personal like robot. That's essentially who this girl is, I think. This is also a really cool series because if you did not know, Clamp is an all-female manga creating team. So very cool and very excited that this a female created series that is highly regarded, I feel like, because this has gotten a 20th anniversary edition. Not many series get that kind of edition. And so I'm excited to jump into it. I mean, these illustrations in the beginning, these colored pictures are absolutely beautiful. I think this is a very pretty illustration. And so I will say I kind of jumped into something new in this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. This one is what I'm reading as of right now. This is the light novel, first volume of Your Forma. Now, you may remember that Yen Press announced that they were doing a manga adaptation of this series, and that's when I first heard of it and was interested in this series. It's basically an investigation team. You have Echika right here. She is a normal human, but you have this android here, Harold Luckcraft, I think is his name. Essentially, in this universe, people have the power to connect inside your consciousness, your mind, with this like USB looking device thing. And so they jump into your subconsciousness to solve mysteries, find information, basically giving up all of your sense of privacy. And I'm just getting started on it. I'm not even halfway through as of yet. I've been real busy with work, but it seems like a series that I'm into. It has the typical, you know, a human hates robots. So I don't know if this will have like some sort of Detroit Become Human aspect to it, or even something like Vivi, but I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm just scratching the surface in this series. It's also set in an alternate 2023 universe. So if we have this technology in a year, I would be astounded. Now, a series that probably every manga collector has at least heard about once, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I have jumped on the JoJo train. I have volumes 1 and 2 of part 1 of the series. And although I haven't gotten to part 2 yet, I have read through part 1. And I really like part 1, introducing the series with Jonathan Joestar and Dio Brando. Dio being one of the more popular main characters, I think. And it was definitely a bizarre adventure adventure. It was one of those series that you couldn't really predict where it was going. I feel like it had like twists and turns and whoa, how did we get here? But it wasn't like you were completely lost and it was overwhelming per se. Phantom Blood was a great beginning. Oh man, if you know, you know. And I really like the art style in here too, especially because at the beginning of the first chapter, really, the pages had this like half color style to it. As you can tell, the orange in these parts and over here is more of like an actual full color. And so I thought that was really, really cool. And the art in here is really, really toned, I feel like. I love kind of this style of the character in their face. It looks very proper and it's very fitting in the series and the setting of where JoJo's Bizarre Adventure takes place. This book at least was set in the like late 1800s, so it does have that old style feel to the art as well that again really fits the series in my opinion. So I'm excited to eventually soon get into part 2, or I'm sorry, volume 2. I can't say part 2 because that's a completely different part of the series. It's very hard, but if you Google it, you know what I'm talking about. So next I have Bloom Into You, the first novel series. Now there's a novel series that has 3 volumes, which is what I've got, and then there's a manga series as well. I can't remember which one is the source material, truthfully, but I've heard good things about Bloom Into You. This is a Yuri series printed by 7 Seas, and I'm excited for it. I mean, I want more Yuri on my shelf. This right here is gorgeous. And again, with a coming of age series, I love coming of age stories, and so I have a good feeling that this would be a very fun read. But I mean, again, I don't know anything really about this besides it's Yuri, and I think it's also a high school setting, which I know kind of rubs people the wrong way, but I feel like a lot of high school coming of age stories are kind of good because like that's when you do start becoming of age for a lot of people. Not saying all people, but a lot of people. Maintaining the Yuri, we've got Our Teachers Are Dating. So I found this series on TikTok. I can't remember who it was that said it, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this looks really, really cute. This is also a Yuri series about, you know, 2 homeroom teachers, an assistant and the actual homeroom teacher, or I can't remember if that's flip-flopped, whatever. This is the Doki Doki series. If you just want something that's kind of mindless, really cute and just adorable, this is full of adorable, I will say. I read this first volume and it's the beginning of the relationship between these two. They're already dating at the start of the first page, and it's just got a little comedy, a little slice of life aspect into it. It is kind of a lot of Doki Doki, I feel like. So I think a lot of people could be easily like overwhelmed with the amount of like, aw, moments, you know, because it's like every other page. I will say though, I will eventually get volume 2. I did enjoy it. It was very nice, soothing, relaxing read, and you know what, I hope I get it soon. I haven't really seen the series out a lot in stores. I just happened to come across it. Now, one series that I've started seeing dwindle down is Noragami Stray God. I did happen to find volume 1, but shortly after I found volume 1, I saw volumes at local bookstores really start to deplete. So this is a shonen series by Kodansha that follows this god right here. And this god, he is the lowest of all the gods. He is poor. Not a lot of people like him. He's kind of like really arrogant too and kind of a jerk. And he ends up later in the series teaming up with this character right here, this human, who you may be surprised that she's human because she has a cat tail, but don't worry, the story explains it. I think this series is essentially going to be about this god right here, not only learning how to interact and get help from others and grow relationships, but the duo together climbing the ranks. That's what I would assume that this is after 1 volume, you know, accomplishing your dreams. I think this has an anime. It's got a quote from Anime News Network on it, which is really cool. I don't see that too often. The art in here was good. It wasn't necessarily anything extraordinary in my opinion, but it was a good read, I felt like. It's not often that we see this kind of growing story is like, he's a literal god. He's not like a sub-god or whatever you call it, where they're like half god. I can't remember the name of it. So I'm curious to see where this goes. My gosh, this video is going to be so long. The next 3 volumes I'll talk briefly about because I actually mentioned them in one of my latest videos, the Smash or Pass video, so I highly encourage that you go watch it. I got the first volume of Alice in Borderland, Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel included, and the 100 Girlfriends that who really love you. I'm gonna kind of fire off a little bit very quickly about these series because I want you to go watch my video. Alice in Borderland, this is an omnibus adapted volume. This has the first 2 volumes of the Japanese series. This is a death game series. These people are essentially isekai'd into the future or something like that, I think. Still very unknown what happened up to this point after 1 volume, and they have to play these games in order to survive in this new world. It's a very cool concept in my opinion. I don't have a lot of death game experience in anime or manga, so this was a really fun read in my opinion. Anyways, that's all I'll say about that. This is another like parody harem comedy anime, again on 100 Girlfriends. I believe the back says if harem stories had an extreme mode, so that should kind of tell you everything that you need to know. This series had a lot of comedy and it really dived into the comedy and committed to it. It is fourth wall breaking as well. There are several moments in this series that they're like, but you as the reader only had to turn a page and we had to endure 8 years or something like that. So I really like that it commits to the bit hard of kind of a parody comedy. So very fun, very cool. I'm excited for volume 2. I think it only has like 3 volumes as of right now. Now, one series I haven't heard a single soul talk about besides me. Studio Apartment, Good Lighting, Angel included. So this is kind of a slice of life series where an angel sleeps on this kid's balcony. There's this high school kid that lives alone in his apartment, and he finds this angel, and this angel is sent down from Earth to create happiness and learn about humans and things like that. And so it's the duo of them together, and it's really cute in my opinion because she learns a lot of new things about, you know, living on Earth and stuff. Like she eats a steamed bun for the first time and she absolutely loves it, and it's different things like that. The art in here, once your eyes get a little bit adjusted, is very beautiful in my opinion, but I have not heard anything about a second volume, so who knows if we'll ever get a second volume of the series. I hope so. And hey, it's just, she's adorable. Look at her. So the final new series to hit my bookshelf for the first time, and I was so excited about this. I found this for a deal on eBay. It was like over half off what everybody else is selling it as, and I've now completed this series. I bought every single volume, all 11 volumes. This is Angel Beats Heaven's Door. So I'm actually going in reverse order showing you the volumes, but Angel Beats, if you do not know, is one of my favorite anime of all time. And if you do not know, there is not a completed series of Angel Beats in English as of right now, and honestly I don't know if there ever will be. This series, Angel Beats Heaven's Door, is essentially a prequel to the Angel Beats anime series. This was published several years ago, and honestly the volumes that I got are pretty much brand new. They were listed as used, but they were some of the best used volumes I have ever bought. And if you've recognized this series, you may have heard of Angel Beats Heaven's Door before. There was actually a first volume printed in English a while ago. Looked exactly like this first cover, but it was discontinued after 1 volume. So if you haven't seen my tweets, I pray every day that this series is picked back up. And one of the really cool things about these Japanese volumes is, even though I can't read Japanese, I'll admit it, not yet, these Japanese volumes, essentially each volume has a sleeve, and if you take off the sleeve, this is like the actual Angel Beats cover. And so it's this really cool kind of like, I don't want to say draft of an illustration or a panel, but it's like, it's not like necessarily super toned. It's more like a outline of a sketch that is, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And every single volume has one of those as well, with beautiful illustrations in the front, and I absolutely love this. This is now one of my favorite like series in my collection, and I can't even read it, but I plan on probably either waiting until I can somewhat read Japanese and then read alongside it and kind of try my hand essentially with it, or I'll probably just be impatient, start reading it very soon and jump on it. So this was my big special purchase. This was like my holy grail of the month, if you will. I'm so happy to get this. I love Angel Beats so much, and I want to get all of the novels as well, all of the manga, even though it's all in Japanese. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and so to have it represented on my bookshelf makes me so happy. And these volumes are so clean as well and in such good condition. I got so lucky that the eBay seller did not hype up this series more, and honestly, them putting it on sale for half off was a miracle as well. But oh man, I'm just super happy about this. As I'm taking a quick break to get a drink, go ahead and hit like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content and maybe want to see more. Not only do we have monthly manga hauls, but also I'm starting to create some other videos as well, some other content about anime and manga, especially new series, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But I think next I'm going to show you the 3 box sets I got. So the first box set that I got was the One Piece. I believe this is box 4. Yes, box 4. Now I've been buying a bunch of single volumes of One Piece. I'll show you the ones that I got later, which there's a lot of them. There's probably like 10 others. But the box sets are a little bit harder to come by when it comes to this series, it being so popular. But this recently came back in stock, I believe like in the beginning of July or August. So I went ahead, purchased it, and so now all I pretty much need is box 2 and 3 up to this point. I think I've also seen a listing of box 3 pretty much at retail price. So once I get paid, I might pull the trigger on it or wait another month, unsure. But anyways, one of the most popular and iconic series, One Piece, it needs no introduction. And although it'll be a while until I read these volumes, I'm glad that I at least have them. The other box set, I waited months for this. I waited like literally 8 months on Backorder. It is the 3rd box set of Bleach. Now this restocked everywhere at the beginning of the month. Right Stuff, Books a Million, it was everywhere, and it is so beautiful. I also just want to show you the inside of this box set as well without spilling all of the volumes. This is a gorgeous illustration inside. Look at this. This is phenomenal. This is also like my first vertical box set as well. So really cool addition into my collection. All I need now is box set 2. This is the final box set of the series, contains the final volume 74. And I believe this goes over the 1,000-year blood arc, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I haven't read the series all the way yet, just the first one. But with the anime coming out soon, I'm excited to get more into this series. I may, because the anime is airing this fall, I might go ahead and read the middle section of Bleach in the Viz Media app subscription that I have, so then I can create more unbiased reviews of Bleach like I did previously. Go watch that video. I really like that video. The final box set I got is indeed the smallest, but it is also a series that needs no introduction. This is Attack on Titan Season 1 Part 2. It contains volumes 5 through 8 of the series, and now this is my 3rd box set of the series, so I'm halfway done. I believe Season 2 and Season 3 of the Attack on Titan series contain 3 box sets, so with the other one releasing, I believe this fall, the final box set, I'm slowly but surely getting this series. And these are relatively cheap compared to the other box sets that I buy. This one only being like $40 some. And I think they're pretty much all relatively in stock on Right Stuff. So I could pretty much finish the series pretty quickly. It's just they are much more bountiful than something like Bleach or One Piece boxes. So I kind of prioritize those a little bit more. We're going to go back to the Straw Hats real quick because now I have the single volumes of One Piece that I'm going to show you. I've got a combination of like beginning of One Piece and end of One Piece. So I think I've talked about this in a video, but if you do not know, I am scrapping my omnibus editions. I only had like 3 of them. Don't worry, it's not that much of One Piece, and decided to collect the colorful, beautiful singles instead. And so I went out and I got the first 4 volumes of One Piece, these being as part of the Right Stuff birthday sale, I think. So getting the first 4 of those, I have 6 and 7 on the way, and then a friend actually from our Discord had an extra volume 5 that they're just gonna send me, so I'm super pumped about that. And then also volumes 13 and 14, I believe, of I believe they're right there, of One Piece. And then, but going to bookstores and going and finding physical versions, I have volume 95, 99, and then I bought the new volume 100. I absolutely love this cover of One Piece, not only because I think it is the first US printed manga series to have 100 volumes. I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's right. This is just a volume that even if you're not like the biggest One Piece fan, like manga collectors will get this volume because this is kind of the historic volume. This is very, very beautiful series, very, very fun series, very, very memorable series. And so I'm glad that I've gotten like 40 volumes now on my bookshelf of One Piece. I've knocked out a good chunk of the series this month alone. Probably won't go this hard into this series for the next month or maybe even the month after that combined, but soon I'll catch up and be able to read. I gotta get to my favorite character, Yamoto, I think is her name. That character is my absolute favorite. I mean, why? I don't know. She's really cool. She also looks like she could smite me. And sometimes that's all I need in a character. But I will definitely be probably putting, you see, I like have some series that I stand up and showcase. This is definitely the volume that I'm going to be showcasing in like the section where One Piece takes over my bookshelf. The next series, oh geez, the next series I actually got a ton of volumes for as well because, well, as you'll see, they were at Target. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I think that's the first time I've said the series right on the first try. I got a bunch of volumes of this series. I believe I got 12 through 5. So I already own volume 13 and I own volumes 1 through 3. So I think I'm only missing 14 and 4 as of right now at this recording. But yeah, if you did not know, Target has been restocking and really beefing up their manga section lately. Not anything to like write home about and ravage in stores trying to pick up everything. But like all of their manga is almost always 20% off. And they've got popular series in there like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I screwed that up. Komi Can't Communicate. I've seen Haikyu in there. I think pretty much all your top popular shonen series. I think One Punch Man and Dragon Ball's in there too. But like if you're like me and you needed to knock out a bunch of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, it was super easy. I mean, I saved 20% off of these volumes, so I'm pretty happy about the purchase and I was able to get them right there and now. So I'm glad I only need a couple more left in this series. But yeah, check your Targets and Walmarts. I also got 5 volumes of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. This was a used copy I bought off Amazon, which I'm a little unhappy about it because it's yellowed pretty good. I think this was a library copy. I think that's what this mark means. And it's also got kind of a tear up top, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I did get new copies of volumes 10, 11, and the newly released volume 12. This is one of my favorite anime of all time, right up there with Angel Beats. I think this series is arguably my favorite anime of all time. Like, seriously, my favorite. I absolutely love this series. It's a fun Yuri slice of life type of deal that's got mythical monsters, a lot of fun comedy, and it's a great seinen series. I'm only missing volumes 6 and 7 now to be up to date with the entire series, and so I need to get those soon. You don't see a lot of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, at least the volumes like before 10, I feel like, in bookstores that I've seen. So the only way I'm gonna be able to get it is online, I think, which is totally okay. One fantasy series that I am so close to being up to date is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I have volumes 13 and 14 here. I was about to get volume 15 and I'm a little mad about this, but the morning that I was going to make an order on Bright Stuff, my weekly order, I was going to slide in volume 15 of this series to like complete the free shipping thing as I usually do. It went out of stock. Like literally the morning that I was gonna buy it. So I'm so mad, but I'll eventually complete this series. I think volume 17, the new volume that's releasing, got pushed back like 2 weeks. So I only need 2 series at this point in the recording to be up to date. DanMachi is right up there with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid as one of my legitimate all-time favorite series. And I read the volumes up to the new anime season 4 to refresh myself on the series. And it was a whole new enjoyment again of a series that I absolutely adore. I love the novels. It's so good in my opinion, and I love it so much, reliving and even seeing some things like in volume 8 that were not present in the anime. So very excited for this, absolutely love it. Can't wait to read these and can't wait to like finish season 4 so then I can read through season 4 and see what it is, because a lot of people I think online that I've seen talk about season 4 say that they've left some like juicy parts of kind of the antagonist, at least at the point where the anime is the first kind of big bad guy. So I'm excited to see, you know, the additions that the novel brings that the anime may have left out to really enhance the series, because I still liked it. Now, one novel series that I am up to date though is That Time I Got Reincarnated Slime. This is the most recent volume 14 novel. Now, this is a great series as well, isekai series that I really like. This is a cool looking volume. I mean, Rimuru is covered in blood because yeah, that's the first thing that I looked at when I saw this novel volume. Anyways, I think this came out in like the final week of July and not August, but it didn't get to me until August in my orders, so that's why I've got it now. But I am up to date on this series. I haven't read through the series yet. I haven't gotten into this because I started reading DanMachi instead of Tensura Slime. But I'm thinking maybe before the movie, I either read all the way up to date or maybe even go past it. Because in my opinion, Tensura Slime feels like one of those series that, although it's good animated, and I really enjoy it animated, I feel like it's best consumed in a novel format because there are a lot of slower moments in the series. I don't know. I'm curious to know of your opinion as well if you have read the series / seen the series. Now, I'm up to date on this series, the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. Now, I went out and I got volume 2, but I was fortunate enough to get sent a care package from the publisher Kaden Books that included volume 3, the newest volume that released in August of this series. So now this isn't the free volume that I got. I actually gave that away on the YouTube channel. You can go see the video where I became Kaden Books' personal maid for a day. It's actually kind of an ironic story. But anyways, I gave it away to one lucky member of our Discord server, so I'm super happy about that because I actually ordered this like 3 weeks prior. I pre-ordered it and I kind of forgot about it, but all's well that ends well because they sent me a lot of great stuff too along with it. I show it off in that video, so highly encourage it. This is a beautiful series that I think is very much slept on this season in terms of anime. This is kind of a slice of life series about a Yakuza group family and this rough and tough, really just beat 'em up kind of guy. He's got to take care of the Yakuza boss's daughter, and you know, he's got to be like a good role model. You know, she's got to grow up to be a good person, so it's kind of adjusting to that. And I think the relationship is beautiful. I think it's so lovely and it's very enjoyable. Again, just like a lot of other series, it's just a great series to just turn off your mind, just relax, enjoy some beautiful moments. I love this series so much, and thank you again to Kaden Books for sending me the 3rd volume and all the goodies that I showed off in that video. I love it and love you. Let's get back to the shonen though. I got a couple volumes here of Haikyu, volumes 6 and 7. Back to collecting Haikyu since the last manga haul, I believe as well. They announced that they're doing 2 movies, and I think to end off the series. So a lot of people are worried that they have too many chapters to cover in those 2 movies, so I'm glad it's not just one movie. But this is my favorite sports manga series of all time. I absolutely love Haikyu. I still gotta get up to date on the anime, but I've watched the first 2 seasons and I've super enjoyed it. It's easily the best sports anime that I've watched, and although I haven't watched too many, I'll admit, it's easily the best one. Look, I started watching Futsal Boys, okay? Haikyu supersedes that by a bajillion. Still kind of hoping they announce a box set for this series though. 45 volumes, you could break that into like 2 box sets, please. Although if I do that, then I gotta sell my first 7 volumes. Staying in shonen, but going to an ongoing fantasy series, we have Black Clover. I've got the next couple of volumes that I needed, volume 16, 17, and 18. I absolutely love this series as well. It's one of the first series that I did an unhealthy binge in terms of a fantasy series, because there's like 180 episodes out right now before the movie releases. And I believe volume 18 is still in the anime. Yeah, it's like, I think maybe on the tail end of the arc that the anime left off on, I believe. But anyways, I absolutely love the series, love the art. Yuki Tabata has done an excellent job with this series, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people talk about it every single week when new chapters release. It's very hard to avoid spoilers, but I think I've done it for the most part. So very excited about that. Absolutely love it, and I'll just continue getting more of these because I believe 30 is out at the time of this recording, or is about to be out. So I'm almost there. I'm like 2/3 of the way through. I'm almost halfway done with this series, even though it's completed. I've got volumes 8 and 9 of The Promised Neverland. Now, I love The Promised Neverland, especially because I've watched a bit of the first season, which is the superior season, as a lot of people say, because season 2 hasn't been adapted yet. It doesn't exist. But anyways, I'm so close to being halfway done. This is a 20 volume completed series that has a bunch of twists, turns, action, etc. I have not seen where this part of the series is in terms of the anime, so I think I'm gonna read it first and then watch or maybe I should watch the anime first, so then like I get that ending of volume 2 and formulate my own unbiased opinion on it, and then read the manga, which I've heard is the superior. So then maybe I enjoy the manga a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is a great series with great art, and it's, again, like I mentioned, I think last month, the series is getting harder and harder to find, so I gotta get going. Now, moving back into the collector's edition, we're talking about Bleach once again. Now, this released at the beginning of the month, and this is a 20th anniversary volume of a very highly regarded series. I mean, we've already talked about how the box sets are, and I really like this series. I mean, this is really no different than the first volume of the manga if you bought like the original. The only differences really are the cover of the series, and then also it's kind of really hard to read. I saw some people review of this, but it's a lot tougher than like your typical Bleach volume, so it takes like a little bit more to read this series, especially, you know, if you come into this section or like this, you know, this part of the page. So definitely, if you get this, I mean, don't try to read through this. Maybe, I mean, if this is the only volume 1 you have, then by all means go for it. But I bought this purely for the collection purpose, to showcase on my shelf a really, really beautiful volume, an anniversary volume that, I mean, again, showcase on my shelf. I'm excited to add this. I don't think they're gonna do any more 20th anniversary like editions of volumes. Maybe the final volume, if anything, but I don't think we've heard anything about that, so I highly doubt it. Maybe not until like the series completes the anime. Moving on to some other new releases in this month, we got Mashle, Magic and Muscles Volume 7. This recently got an anime adaptation, if you do not know, and it is so freaking funny. Again, another parody comedy series. This one is kind of the parody on Hogwarts and the Harry Potter franchise. And in my opinion, I've enjoyed this much better than the Harry Potter franchise. And I'm excited to see how this gets animated, because this is one of the series that, before the anime was announced, this was one of my top 3 series that I was begging to get animated, that I was really, really hoping and praying to see an anime adaptation of this. And I'm so excited for it. I hope it does well. And I'll just keep reading this beautiful, funny Magic and Muscles Mashle series. Speaking of beautiful series, Frieren Beyond Journeys, and this keeps getting rumored to getting an anime adaptation, but it's been a long time, and honestly, you know, you could just say a rumor about any manga series that is super, super popular, and it probably gets a little bit of traction, whether you're being truthful or not. But anyways, again, one of my favorite manga series to read, one of the most beautiful manga series as well to read. I haven't gotten around reading to volume 5 as of yet, because this was actually delayed for me, and so it took a little bit to get here, but I absolutely love Frieren and this adventure about really just cherishing time, especially with the ones that you love. So I think this has a very, very powerful message, has a very, very beautiful story, and I'm excited to see more of the art by Tsukasa Abe. Coming up on the tail end, let's get into a little bit of the romances that I've gotten. How Do We Relationship Volume 2. Now, this is a Yuri series that I mentioned recently in the last month or so. It's about two college people that start dating each other. They're a little bit different in terms of their personalities, but in the first volume, I mentioned how there wasn't like necessarily a lot of turmoil or things like that in the series to kind of give it a little bit more essence in the plot, but this volume kind of started diving into that about the characters and the conflicts that they're going to come across in later volumes. So I believe 6 volumes are out right now in English, so I'm a little close to halfway done. I'm a third of the way read through up to date, and I've enjoyed it. I think it's fun, I think it's cool, and I hope, you know, I find volume 3 soon so I can continue on Miwa and Saiko's journey. It just also like it feels real. Like if I was a college kid getting into an LGBTQ relationship, I feel like a lot of these things are things that I would feel. So that's another thing that I like about this series. Now, a series that definitely does not feel real when it comes to its romance because it really relies on the comedy and it does a really good job with it. One of my favorite all-time series, Kaguya-sama Love is War, Volume 23, the newest volume of the series that has released. I haven't read up to this point, so please, for the love of God, don't spoil it, but I'm excited to get into it. I'm very, very excited to hopefully start reading it soon because I've heard that especially after the anime, the recent season ended, it gets really, really, really good. So I'm so excited to continue the journey and to hopefully, start the journey of the manga soon. I'm completely up to date on Kaguya-sama thanks to the Right Stuff anime sale, so I can't wait. Just a couple more series to go. Let's start it with a light novel, Classroom of the Elite, Year 2, Volume 1. This is a brand new volume that's come in. I think this took a little bit to get to me, but I've really heard mixed reviews about the anime. Not that the anime is bad, content-wise, the plot is bad or anything like that. A lot of people have been griping about the second season of the anime being just lazy almost, and just the direction with the director just leaving a lot of things out and stuff like that. And so the light novels are super highly regarded, and a lot of people encourage, if you want to get into the series, to read the light novels because that's the best way to enjoy in terms of the series if you don't really have a preference between reading or watching. And I am so close to completing this series. To be up to date, I'm missing one volume 4.5. So please, if you have 4.5 and you don't want it and you want to sell it to me, I am more than interested in buying it for a reasonable price though. But I read the first 2 volumes of this series and I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to continue reading this series and getting into it. I'm interested to see how Year 2 goes. I don't know if all of Year 1 is just their freshman year and now it's their sophomore year. So I'm curious about that, in my honest opinion. And also I heard that, I don't know if this is just in Japan or it's in English, but they're reprinting all of the volumes of Classroom of the Elite, the light novels. So if it's only Japan, hopefully English does that same thing here soon, because man, I would just love to get volume 4.5 at a reasonable price. We've got up next The Duke of Death and His Maid Volume 2. I promise this is a new release. This came to me on time. It wasn't stuck in processing jail on Right Stuff Anime, because if you do not remember, I think last month I finally got volume 1. So now very quickly getting volume 2 of a series I really, really enjoy. I think this is an underrated kind of rom-com series that with its anime adaptation scared a lot of people because of its CG. I get it, it's a little bit different than what people are used to in anime, but if you want to broaden your anime horizons and want to watch anime that is CGI, Beastar's Duke of Death and His Maid. 2 very, very good series in my opinion that I highly encourage and I will continue to hype about. So I'm glad I've got the second volume. These volumes as well are beautiful, I will say, in terms of the covers. They're beautifully done. I like the art in here as well, and I'm so excited to kind of relive the journey of this series yet again. One thing I will say though is I feel like the cover is more based on the anime, and then the manga is like the original source material, which is kind of like a different, I don't know, it just feels different. Like, it's not a jarring difference for a lot of these characters, and I don't know if it's because it's CGI anime, which is just different than like manga, but I don't know, it's just something to think about. It doesn't bother me or anything like that. It's just something that I've noticed. The final volume in this video that I got to show you, of course I got volume 20 of Komi Can't Communicate. I love this series, one of my favorite manga series of all time. I really also like this volume. This is probably one of my more favorite volumes. I would say probably within the top 3 or 4 of the Komi Can't Communicate series, because I will say in like volume 18, like the gear started going and then it kind of tailed back a little bit, but not too much. But now volume 20, at the end of it, there was a click. And I won't spoil if you haven't read it or caught up to date on the series yet, but I think it's gonna be interesting how it plays out in volume 21 and beyond. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I'm also curious if they're gonna like rent a girlfriend it, where like you think there's gonna be some progress, but then it reels it back. I know a lot of people, their gripes on this series, they say like the plot is a little too slow, which I totally understand. But honestly, like in a slice of life high school kind of rom-com as well, like I don't see that necessarily as an issue, I would say, in comparison to like a fantasy action adventure like Black Clover, where just like, oh, another bad guy appears and you were not aware of this bad guy for all of these years. Oh, like that's really easy in comparison to slice of life to go too far without like progression to the end. That's all I got this month. I got so much this month. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. And again, if you enjoy the content, you want to see more, please make sure to hit like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Let me know what I should get into. Leave recommendations down in the comments. But before I go, I'm probably going to hold off a little bit in terms of I'm really going to tail back the amount of manga and light novels that I'm buying. Mostly because if you did not see in Twitter and in our Discord, I still follow the Pokemon trading card game, for those of you that know the lore of this channel. And the other week, the 2023 Pokemon World Championships were announced that they're going to be in Japan. And so, especially because I think Japan just opened up their borders again, and I have this new job, it's actually like realistic for me next August to be in Japan. So I'm going to start saving a lot more money. I'm still going to buy volumes every month, but I think I'm just going to focus a little bit more on like new releases. Maybe every so often buy a box set, like when it comes back in stock that I'm trying to find, like Bleach or something like that. But because of that, I'm gonna try to bring out more videos on the channel of different things about manga and anime, kind of like what I did in the Smash or Pass video, where essentially I just read a bunch of volume 1s that I have and decided if it was something that I want to continue, or maybe something that I think I rather don't want to read anymore, or maybe even just read online and not invest. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and check out these other ones that I got over here on the channel. I think they're really cool. YouTube's recommending them to you. So as always, YouTube doesn't really make bad recommendations most of the time. But anyways, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Keep reading and come back soon.